Hi, everybody. I'm Larry Keene, Senior Vice President and General Counsel of the National Shooting Sports Foundation. And I'm really pleased to be here with Secretary Bernhardt and Secretary Perdue to talk a little bit about conservation and sportsman's issue here on SHOT Show TV. Secretaries, welcome and thank you for coming and visiting us at the SHOT Show.
Well, thank you, Larry. It's my first time. It's just like a kid in a candy store here. It's great meeting with all the folks that are interested in, obviously, the industry, conservation as a whole. I'm glad to be here.
It's fantastic to be here. It's great.
Yeah, we're really pleased that you're here. So, the Trump administration, the president has put a high priority on sportsmen's issues, the Second Amendment, and increasing access to public lands for hunting and shooting sports. Could you talk a little bit about what you both have done in your departments to achieve the president's priorities?
Well, again, obviously, we got to think these are public lands, just like a lot of people don't grow up with access to private hunting or fishing lands, and that's our responsibility to make sure the public knows they can have access. It's their land, and our mantra in the U.S. Forest Service and in our department is if it's open unless it's closed for a very specific reason. We want people to know that. We want to enjoy that, not just the small group, but we want the public at large to enjoy that. The reauthorization of the Land Conservation and Water Fund, very, very important.
Well, the Department of the Interior manages a lot of public land, and so we're in exactly the same boat of encouraging access, fostering access, and also having common sense regulations. Like we eliminated the ban on lead ammo and for fishing gear. We've done some really things that ensure that sportsmen can get out, enjoy the land, participate in hunting and fishing, recreational opportunities, and see the great bounty that nature provides.
Yeah, well, you guys are doing a tremendous job, and I know I'm honored to serve on the Federal Advisory Committee that provides counsel to both of you, the Hunting and Shooting Sports Conservation Council. Can you speak a little bit about how that council has helped you and the interaction between both of you and the council?
Well, one of the great things about the council is it allows a broad group of folks to come together to give us very specific ideas on things that we have questions on. So whether it's, hey, how do you feel about this, or how do you feel about that, getting a broad group of recommendations that we can act on has been really special and good for us. And you have done a great job of being an ambassador for a whole host of people in that.
Yeah, it's
I think, Larry, it's just, again, it's the way our government was founded. All the wisdom doesn't reside in Washington, D.C., and to have people who are on the ground, outfitters and users all across the country coming together to give us the best ideas. David and I both, we want to hear. I mean, we need feedback. What are we doing we shouldn't be doing? What should we be doing we're not doing? And that's why we want citizens committees and advisory committees to come and have the liberty to speak very candidly with us about it. We need our report card in that way. So that's what that's about.
So we had a great farm bill, and you were very instrumental in helping to craft that language. Talk a little bit about what's in the farm bill that's important to sportsmen and hunters that helps them have access.
Well, again, the farm bill again reauthorized and even expanded the CRP acres, which is huge for wildlife, but not just waterfowl, but upland game as well as our big game, and that's very, very important. Obviously, helping to the Land Conservation and Water Fund reauthorization, having a dedicated funding source as long as the appropriators put it there for expanding access to public rounds. All that's very good. Again, the CREP, the enhancement going to NGOs like this group and others, partnering with both tribes and non-governmental entities there will be a big factor in how we can continue to enhance the opportunity for wildlife.
Yeah, I mean, and wildlife is thriving in this country, and you know, so one of the things that you've been really instrumental in is the Healthy Forest Initiative. Can you speak a little bit about how that, what that's about and why that's important for sportsmen?
Well, Secretary of Interior and I both have responsibility for forests, everybody knows that healthy, well-managed forests are better for everything. They're less fire, less disease, and more wildlife, better water quality, and all that, better for recreation. Just those people who want to walk around the forest. You can't walk through a dense underbrush in a forest. When it's well managed and beautiful, that's what we want to do. We've got some great private landowners in this country. I want our national forest to look just as good as theirs.
Yeah.
And that starts, the president is committed to ensuring that we do a good job in active forest management and treatment, and he's really given leadership and direction to Sonny and to myself, and that makes a big difference.
Yeah.
So one of the things I'm really excited about is working on the advisory committee is engaging with BLM and creating a new recreational shooting policy. Can you speak a little bit about that and what the timetable might be?
Well, we for a long time, the Bureau of Land Management operates on its open and less closed posted. So we have that, but we're actually engaged in developing some microsites that will be rolling out areas where we can absolutely ensure that we're facilitating recreational shooting opportunities in ways that are safe and sound, but also provide that opportunity to folks. And we'll be doing some things in Arizona, and I'll be rolling some things out in probably about 3 weeks that really highlight what we're doing. And that's a result of a lot of your folks' hard work in passing legislation through the Public Lands Bill that allows us to do some new things to maximize our opportunities.
Yeah, the land bill, the Dingle Act, very important, great for sportsmen. So I want to talk about something kind of serious and of growing concern, and that's the issue of chronic wasting disease. It's a real threat to hunting in the United States, very difficult challenge. Can you speak a little bit about, what your role is and what you're doing to help try to combat the spread of that?
Well, this is a very difficult disease, obviously with an incubation period of 18 to 24 months, currently a non-invasive type of way of diagnosing. I mean, you have to harvest the animal. One of the things we're doing from research is trying to get a non-invasive ability to diagnose herds and animals, whether they're wild or cervid farmers, in that way to understand that. There's a lot of research need to be done. It's all from whether it's a CRJ or a CWD or a BSE in there. These TSEs are pretty weird kind of diseases, and it's going to require a lot of research. That's why it's important for Dave and the Department of Interior and Secretary of Agriculture and USDA to come together with the private sector, the best researchers, to fund what we can do, what we know, what we don't know, and how we can contain this disease.
And we're really working collaboratively with the states to do that.
Right.
Because the states have a major role, leadership role in wildlife management. And so it's working together, identifying some best practices, looking at what we can do on the science side, and then collaborating going forward to address the problem in a way that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, there's been some authorizing language passed recently to help address
We just got
this,
some additional money in our budget to support some activities.
So what can the industry do to help to combat the spread of this terrible
I think we just need to make sure that we understand the issues, work together, and use common sense for best practices.
And encourage the state authorities, as Dave said, to put the resources and people on this from an awareness perspective and understanding where this is and the spread of this disease.
Great. Well, it looks like we're out of time. We could spend, I'm sure, hours talking about all these fascinating issues. You guys I just want to thank you again for coming to the SHOT Show, and what a tremendous job that you're doing for sportsmen, for hunters and anglers, and creating access and opportunity for people to enjoy the public lands.
Larry, I want to say one last thing.
Sure.
We just saw the Second Amendment rally in Virginia, and I'm just proud of the way people participated up there. All the guns there, nobody got hurt.
That's right. It's all about safety. It's all about protecting our Second Amendment rights.
Our freedom.
And it's the industry, as you all know, that helps pay for conservation through the Pittman-Robertson Wildlife Excise Tax, and we're happy to pay that tax.
We are too.
Thanks very much. That's all the time we have for now. Thanks very much to Secretary Bernhardt and Secretary Perdue, and we'll see you later.